Okay, for today's video, I've decided it's time to go somewhere a little bit nicer than just walking the streets. We are approaching the destination. Oh wait, no, it's not that. It's next to that. Let's go. Here we are. It is such a miserable day that this looks awful. It was supposed to look a bit better than this, but let's go have a look, shall we? Okay, this was supposed to be quite a nice walk, but it's quite muddy. Also, I about fell down the freaking hole. So in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about the new website, the new rebranding, everything like that. So probably the first 5 minutes is going to be about that, maybe even less, and then the rest is just going to probably be me rambling. I think that's how it's going to go. But I am so damn excited to be showing you guys the new website and the new logo and the new rebranding. And I want to say a huge thank you to Michael over at Broadbridge, I think that's how you pronounce it, Broadbridge Designs, for putting all this together for me at an incredible rate. And I'd have to say, if any of you guys are looking for any graphics whatsoever, any website, anything like that, even just advice, this is the guy to go to. Honestly, he is so good. I didn't quite comprehend how loud these geese are, which are flying all behind me. I think they're just going to be making a lot of noise throughout the video. I don't think they want me to do it. Also, we have a viewer. We have someone watching the recording live. Hello. So as I was saying, Michael at Broadbridge Design, honestly, incredible guy, incredible work. And he's only about a year older than me, so the dude is doing incredibly well. But I actually met him at work. I served him at work, at my place of work, and I was just talking to him while serving him, and I just got this gut feeling. I was like, I've got to use this guy to build my website and do my rebranding, because it's something I've been thinking about for a while now, rebranding, because It's Kibble Watches is growing. It's becoming more of an actual thing, whereas before obviously it was just something I was doing purely for fun. And whilst I still heavily enjoy it, it's becoming quite a bit more than that, to be honest. It's going beyond just fun. It's becoming something quite serious and something that I could probably actually make into a living one day. So I was like, I need a graphics, a name, and a whole format which represents that, because my current one, in my opinion, definitely didn't. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, it was still functional, but as far as, you know, actually being able to represent something, I just didn't feel like it could do that. So when I met him and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this guy, and we sent over a load of ideas, went back and forth, and we came up first with actually the logo. And immediately I was like, yes, this is the start of something new for me, and new for Kibble Watches. So it had to happen. So we went ahead and built the website, or he built the website, I should say, and obviously I just gave my opinion and thoughts. And he's built such an incredible format and such an incredible platform. I am literally over the moon with it. And my new logo, I just think is so cool, the KW. But this is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and the rest of this video I'm probably just going to ramble about random things and just talk about the business and how I want it to go, because it really is turning into a real business, you know. I've always had this dream, and I remember when I first got into watches, and some of you guys and girls who are watching probably will remember it as well, but I actually got into watches with a Citizen Eagle 7, something that I found on eBay for £13 at the time. And I remember how excited I was and how much I loved it, and I had this crazy dream in my head that I would love to be able to provide that for people. You know, I'd love to be able to provide that feeling that I had for the first time to other people, and it just became this huge dream to one day have a platform where you could go and buy ultimate high-end watches. You know, if you're someone with a nice bit of money, or you've saved up and worked really hard for something and you want to get that perfect watch, you could go here to buy it. But also somewhere, if you were like me at the start, and still even now, where my budget wasn't huge, you know, my budget still isn't huge, I can barely scratch together a couple of £100 for a watch every now and again. So it was just one of those situations where I wanted to build something where either someone like me when I started, or someone like people I know who have a lot of money to spend on watches but also love it, could go to buy a watch. And it was just a crazy idea, because I was looking and the only place you could really do anything like that was eBay and Chrono24, and they're this huge platform. There was not a watch dealer I could really look at and think of where you could go and get a super expensive watch and a super crazy affordable watch. I'm not just talking, you know, £500 to £1,000, which a lot of the watch market seem to think is crazy affordable. I'm talking literally £50, £100, £200, which is in my mind crazy affordable. I'm really sorry about all this, guys, all these animals. I thought this was going to be a good idea, but I wanted a platform like that, and that was this crazy idea that I had. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't even know if it was possible. Part of me was like, maybe the reason no one's ever done it is because it isn't possible. But I was like, you know what, screw it, I've got nothing to lose. I've moved all this way. These fucking things. I've moved all this way, and it'd be silly of me not to even try, you know. I've got a normal full-time job which pays my bills. I've got nothing to lose here but to try. So that's what I've done. Kibble Watches is the new next step for me, and I think it's going to be where it's going to take off. Whether that be instantly or in a couple of years, I really don't know. Obviously these things take time, and I'm willing to be patient. So it's just super, super exciting. And I had a conversation with someone recently on email, and I've actually had a few comments about it. You guys have probably seen it. If not, it doesn't really matter. But essentially, a couple of people have said they don't like the new direction I've gone with the YouTube channel and things like this. And trust me, I hear you. I'm trying to bring it back to the old content while still providing an outlet for the business. I'm finding that nice midpoint. It's a hard thing to do, so just be patient, guys. I promise I will find it. But a few people have said they don't like the direction I'm going. I should have just stuck with it as a hobby and not as a business, because your hobby should always come first. And it got me thinking, you know, these people that are saying this, I had a very long conversation with someone on email. It wasn't like an argument, it was definitely a conversation, but like, these people don't know me. They don't know what I was like when I was 12 and 10, and I've always had this entrepreneurial sort of thing where I've always wanted to run a business. I remember being a young kid, and you guys probably remember Games Workshop models. I'm sure it's still a thing. And these are these little models you can paint. I'll put a couple of pictures up on screen. And it's a game that actually mostly adults play, to be honest. If you go to the Games Workshop stores, as far as from my experience when I was back in Leicester, it was mostly adults that played this game. And I was a young kid, I really didn't really understand the game, but I loved painting these models. It was just so much fun. And even with something like that, which was a hobby to paint models, my first thing that I did was like, how can I build something here? You know, how can I provide something where I'm giving value to other people whilst bringing value to myself? So I set up a little stand in the Games Workshop. Obviously I got permission, and I built this little thing where I wrote on it, I will paint your models as long as you cover the cost of paint plus a little bit more. And that little bit more was dependent on the size of the model and things like this, and how many models. And obviously if you did more, I'd lower the price. Bearing in mind I was about 12, 13 at the time. And that's what I did, you know, because these adults, they prefer just to play the game, most of them, rather than paint the models. So I was like, there's this little gap here. There's people playing this game with unpainted models. I enjoy painting. Let's build something here. So that was like very early on when I was like 12, 13. Even back at school, I did what probably 99% of you did. I sold sweets, I did all this, but I did something a little bit different as well, because we got banned from selling sweets at school because, you know, they hate any business forward thinking in schools in the UK for some strange reason. So we was unable to sell sweets, sell, you know, pop and all that kind of stuff. We were not allowed. So I was like, how can I get around this? And this was when Yu-Gi-Oh cards were just kicking off, and training cards, and you know, the little football ones. So I was like, let me bring in the sweets that I would have still sold and do trades instead. And I would trade like 2 Kit Kats or 2 Twix for one of these Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I knew I could sell on eBay for like 15, 20 quid. And I was like, this actually works out a whole lot better than selling the sweets. And I again would have been about 13 at the time, you know, maybe even a bit younger. So what I'm trying to say is, this business side of me has always been there from a very young age, and it was only just a matter of time until I tried, or I was going to make a business out of this. And everything I've done, I really got into. I really went deep. And watches is the first thing that stuck. You know, I got super deep into gaming. I played a lot of professional gaming on the PC with Counter-Strike, Call of Duty. I streamed on Twitch, I did videos. You know, I was building this brand almost. And brand building is something I've always done, and always, it just came naturally to me from a very young age. So I was always building this brand, you know, it was always about me to some level, and just providing entertainment to people and streaming on Twitch and creating a community, and that was always important to me. And then I moved on from that and I went on to vlogging, and I did 200, it's still on YouTube, it's very, very embarrassing. The videos are terrible, the editing's terrible, and I am super young and immature. I guess I've not changed too much. But I did 200 days straight of vlogging. Even when I crashed and like ripped the top of my ear off and had a pretty bad bike accident, I still got a video out that day. So I came home from the hospital after having like 50 stitches, I think it was like 45 in my ear, and like stitches across my forehead here, and split open back, my arms covered in bandages. You can go back and watch it, I'm not lying. I still went home, edited that video and put it out on time for the next day. And I did 200 days of daily vlogging. So everything I've ever done, I've got really into and really gone hard, but eventually it dropped out. This is the first thing, this hobby now has gone on since I was probably 17, I think, is when I got my first proper watch. And by proper, I mean a £13 Citizen Eagle 7 from the 70s on eBay. So that is where it began for me, and for something to last this long, and I still love doing it to this day. Every single day, I work in a jeweler's, so I go to work, I sell watches, I handle jewelry, I handle diamonds on a daily basis. I come home at, you know, 7 p.m, 8 p.m, 6 p.m, whatever, and the first thing I do is reply to all my emails and start selling watches at home. So if I can do something like that, which I have done now for almost a year, then I think this is something I'm going to stick through for the long run. And I'm willing to invest as much time as possible, as much money as possible, as much money as I possibly can, I should say, and build this. And it's just super, super exciting to me. Anyway, I think I'm rambling big time, but my point was, to the people who are saying you need to put your hobby first, business has always been a big hobby for me. It's actually been the main thing, and everything I got into was to work around building a business to some level. I don't know how that's going to sound, like listening to that back. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are against businesses, against making money. You know, I've met quite a few people who, if you're trying to make money doing something, they look down on it. I'm not too sure why. It must just be this thing in their mind. Maybe they view money as this negative thing. I definitely don't. You know, I grew up back in Leicester in a council estate where we didn't really have much. You know, even when my dad was working, he was earning an okay wage, and we still didn't have loads. You know, I wasn't spoiled, we lived an okay life, but then when things sort of went a bit downhill, we lost everything really. You know, we barely had anything, and that's what I mainly grew up with from the age of 10 or 11, and that's where things changed, and I started really getting this mind for business and this mind for ways to make money. And I don't see it as a negative thing. I know a lot of people do, but I see it as a very positive thing. It keeps me going, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me working, you know, 13, 14 hours a day at times. So I love what I'm doing. I think this is going to be the big thing for me. I think this is going to be what I end up making something of myself with. Kibble watches. So back to that a little bit because I am truly rambling. So Kibble watches, the reason we decided to drop the It's Kibble watches is because the It's just makes no sense. Michael asked me a very simple question, which I surprised I'd never even asked myself. Why is It's there? And I genuinely couldn't answer it. I was just like, I don't know. So we dropped that, Kibble watches. It's much more simple, much more clean, much more professional. The new logo, incredible. The new website, flawless in my opinion. And I just want to say, one day, again, back to my big dream of being able to provide the top end and the very, you know, not bottom end, but super affordable for anyone. One day I will sell Pateks and Rolexes. I'm saying it now on the 8th, what is it, the 8th of April? I think it's the 8th of April, 2018. One day on my website, you will see Rolexes, Pateks, Vacherons, you will see some top end stuff. And at the same time, I am going to do my very best, and I'm pretty confident it's going to be there, but sub £250 watches are still going to be on my website, because it's something I'm passionate about. I want to provide value on all ends of the spectrum, and value is relative. It's relative to circumstance, relative to people, and relative to just everything really. So I want to provide value for everyone. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the huge ramble. I don't really know even what I talked about and covered now I'm thinking about it, but what I'm going to do, because it is now tipping it down, I'm actually going to go to the McDonald's that I showed you over there and have a McDonald's. So thank you very much for watching, and I'm excited to see how this chapter goes. You know, the way I see it, we're all writing a very long book. We don't realize it, but we're all writing a very long book. And I am literally just coming up to the end of chapter 1. That is it. And the book is obviously my life. In case you didn't get that, I'm sure you did. You're smart people. And I'm just coming up to the end of chapter 1 and starting chapter 2 in my life. And I'm super fucking excited. I hope you guys are, and I hope you guys will bear with me through this journey. There's going to be times I'm going to get it wrong. There's going to be times I do things wrong and I get called out for doing things wrong. You know, it happens. I accept failure is a huge part of success. Actually, it's the main part of success. If you don't fail, you're never going to succeed. So, and I truly believe that. So I hope you'll bear with me through it, and I hope you all enjoy the journey as much as I'm going to enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Take care. Peace out, guys, and live your dreams, okay? Turn into a bit of a motivational rant. I don't know why. Anyway, peace out, guys.